Okay, so before we get into the details on how to build our phase 1 of a Disney cinematic universe, the idea behind this video came from another video that we did in our sister channel, Rebel Economics, where we explore the question of where the Disney remakes were going. So you should check it out, it is really good. But now, welcome to Rebel Culture, your YouTube hub for everything that has to do with nerd culture, from Pokemon to Marvel to, of course, Disney. So, the objective of this video is to configure a new Disney cinematic universe. The way in which we will do this is rather simple. We will follow the Marvel template and come up with a whole phase's worth of movies. Exactly 5 movies, using different Disney characters. The final goal of this series will be the construction of a cinematic universe similar to that one of Marvel. The reason why we chose the Disney multiverse to do this is because I believe that there is tremendous storytelling potential to be explored by making these characters that are larger than life interact with one another. And let us know in the comments what you thought of this phase 1 and where it might be going. Beyond that, simply relax, grab a snack and enjoy phase 1 of the Disney Universe saga. Okay, let's briefly talk about the ground rules of this exercise as if Disney were planning to do a shared universe with the remakes. Nothing points to this fact, but I believe it would be an awesome idea. Second, we're gonna pretend that no remakes exist yet. So forget everything about Dumbo, Aladdin and Beauty and the Beast. We're starting from scratch. And third, the objective of this is for the characters to cross over, but each will still have their solo movies in separated universe. That way we don't have to explain how can the Greek civilization of Hercules and medieval Snow White be in the same world. Okay, so with all of that out of the way, let's present our first solo movie, Aladdin. As mentioned before, I am gonna try to stick to the Marvel formula for this phase 1, and I believe that Aladdin embodies Tony Stark quite well. Obviously not in the riches or the womanizing, but I do believe that if there was a character in Disney capable of getting out of tough situations with his brain alone, it would be Aladdin. So, the story of this first movie would happen more or less the same as in the original movie, with Aladdin meeting Jasmine and getting caught by the guards and being sent to the dungeons of Agrabah. There he would meet the old man that turns out to be the Vizier Jafar, in disguise. Everything will continue the same until he reaches the Cave of Wonders, where he would meet a feminine figure in a dark cloak. Aladdin would be surprised and ask who that person is, receiving no answer, and would only say that they want the lamp. Aladdin would respond something like, "I don't know what the interest is in that lamp. Lady, look around you. With all this money, you will be richer than a sultan." The cloaked figure would argue that this world, like many others, is doomed, and that when the world is swallowed by darkness, only the lamp would matter. Aladdin says that he has been charged with taking the lamp and replied that Agrabah streets are full of half-mad men with visions of the apocalypse. The only difference is that you seem to be the only person that believes them. Aladdin will continue walking inside the cave, and the figure will respond, "Have it your way. Once this world of sand and magic is broken, I will take the lamp from your dead hands." Aladdin will turn and face the figure once again, and the only thing that he can see is the piercing color of red lips amongst the darkness of the cloak. Then the woman will disappear. The movie from this point on will continue as it was in the original, with Aladdin being taken for dead, becoming a prince with the help of the genie, and so on. With only one exception. Aladdin would only ask the genie about the cloak woman, and why she wanted the lamp, and how she talked about many worlds. But the genie would be incapable of answering, like literally his voice would disappear, as if a spell is limiting his powers. The only other difference would come at the end of the movie, where Jafar, as soon as he becomes a genie, would go from euphoria, shown in the movie, to a terrified notion. He would be furious and start mumbling words. "The darkness, the worlds, Olympus has fallen," and then turn to the genie in utter fury and ask him, "You knew about them, didn't you?" And then Aladdin would finally pick up the lamp of Jafar and lock him back into it. Towards the end of the movie, when Aladdin releases the genie, we will have that sweet "you were always a prince to me" moment, and then the genie will tell Aladdin, Jasmine, and the Sultan about the strange woman in a cloak. Since he is free from the lamp, he can now speak about it. The curse is gone. He does not know much, but he said that he served a woman for a long time. That she said she came from another world. She asked for magical powers, being particularly obsessed with poison making. And also beauty, eternal beauty. That would be the last thing the genie knows about. But just before the end of the story, we would see a rift open in the skies of Agrabah on the same night of Aladdin's wedding. And so it will end the movie. I believe that this is the kind of tone that we should go for. The multiversal stuff should not get in the way of the main movie, but tease something larger. The reason why Jafar became aware of the meta world is because he reached the omniscience of a genie, and so the universe had no secrets for him. Okay, so now we go to the next movie, Hercules. Hercules, I believe, is the Captain America of this universe. I know that because of mythology and all of that, perhaps the obvious parallelism is Thor, but I believe that he plays the role of the standard black and white hero the best. So, once again, his movie will work just the same, but with a few exceptions. The first one will be of Zeus and Hera meeting with Hephaestus the night in which Hercules is poisoned as a baby with the god-killer brew, and talking about how to create a protection charm. Hephaestus will show them the medallion we see in the original movie, and say that the metal around it is ancient and has tremendous protection capabilities that should shield a mortal from any damage. Let's remember that since baby Hercules does not finish the god-killer brew, he's still very much alive, but a mortal, no longer a god. Zeus will be surprised about a god talking of ancient times, and the god of the forge will say that this metal was old before Kronos sat on the throne of Olympus. The scene will end with an eagle bringing the medallion to baby Hercules, right before his adopted parents find him. In the next scene, we will see Hades furious at the failure of his minions to kill Hercules, and the cloaked woman will appear again, somewhat younger than when we saw her in Aladdin. Hades will say, "Your damn poison was a failure. This world of yours must be a true disappointment if its biggest and baddest is a failed witch." The cloaked figure will respond that the problem was not the poison. The kids simply did not finish it. Also, guard your tongue, god of the dead. Without me, the prophecy of a son of Olympus ending your reign in the underworld will be even more secure. Or are you unable to end an infant? Hades will say that they can't find him, and the woman will smile and disappear, while whispering, "He will be disappointed in you." Then the years pass, and Hercules grows up, goes through Phil's training, and becomes strong in the process. During one of the early battles, he finds the cloaked woman and Megara discussing, and asks if everything is okay. Essentially, this scene goes like the one with the centaur in the original Hercules, where the cloaked woman ends up fighting Hercules. The cloaked woman wins as she manages to cut Hercules many times, inflicting paralyzing poison. And then, after she has him in his knees, she discovers the medallion of Zeus and grabs it, seeming very pleased with herself, and disappears with the medallion. This triggers the end of the movie, since Hades can now find Hercules, who no longer has the cloaking and protection spell of Olympus. He manages to release the Titans and lead them to Olympus. The end of the movie is a bit different, because the fall of Olympus that Jafar mentioned in the first movie must happen, so the cloaked witch will appear again as the Titans have Zeus frozen in petrified lava, and we will get to hear a bit of their conversation before she administers the god-killer poison on Zeus and kills him. She says, "So many years of keeping the worlds together. All for what? Still terrified of Daddy, are you?" Zeus would respond, "Oh, another one of his group of fanatics. I did not know that Kronos had such reach across the meta world. But then again, he was always capable of poisoning minds." The witch will respond agitated. Kronos is not his name anymore. Much has changed since your cute Titanomachy. She will lean in and whisper in Zeus's ear, I found them all. After this, the witch will inject the god-killer poison in Zeus and kill him. Then, she will disappear. This will open a rift in the sky, like the one we saw in Agrabah, and there Hercules will fight the Titans and put an end to Hades' plan. Finally, he will find his dad's body and will cry for his passing. Hera would be named Queen of Olympus, and Hercules will venture into the rift, in space, riding Pegasus. Okay, now let's talk about the next two movies a bit more quickly. The next chapters in our saga will be Mulan and Snow White. In Mulan we will see, as per usual, the story of the original movie, while hinting at an external world. For this movie I imagine the cloaked woman appearing to Mulan as she is alone in the camp, and threaten to reveal her secret. She will try to fight her, but she will fail, since at this point in the movie she's not a trained soldier yet. Also, throughout the movie we will constantly hear more of the Hun's advances toward the mainland China, and the Emperor's palace. And everyone will talk about the magic power of the sword of Zhang Yu, the leader of the Han horde. In this movie, the character that will know about the external world will be Mushu. In his role as the protector of the family and due to his connections with the ancestors' world, he's also cosmically aware of the meta world outside. Mulan will complete her arc by defeating Zhang Yu, like in the original, and will return home to offer their sword and the Emperor's medallion to her dad. But the difference is that in this movie, the witch will appear at the end and steal the sword of Zhang Yu. She will also take Shang, the commander of Mulan's army. The way that she will do this will tie us over to the next movie, Snow White, and finally reveal who the witch is. After stealing the sword of Zhang Yu from Mulan's dad, we will cut to Shang, making his way towards Mulan's home, as he does at the end of the original. He will be sleeping in an inn when someone knocks on the door. Shang will open and find an old woman with a hood. She will ask for a room for the night, for a storm is raging outside. She will say that she can't pay with anything but a satchel full of the reddest and tastiest apples. Shang, being the good guy he is, will accept and bite one of the apples. And the last scene of the movie will see him opening his eyes, that will have a dark color, indicating to the audience that Shang is now under the witch's control. As we see this from a window, we can see the sky beginning to rip open. Next movie will be Snow White, where the story will take a different path. We will focus a lot on the evil queen, now that we know that she is the cloaked figure in the previous 3 movies. Something like what we saw in Thor 1, with its focus on Loki as a villain, but also as a hurt kid. We will see in the Queen's evil castle an assortment of all of the items stolen from protagonists in previous movies. The lamp, the sword and the medallion. But it is in this movie where more licenses will be taken on my part. The original Snow White was an animation masterpiece when it came out, but honestly, it is kinda boring. Snow White is a very passive character that does not fit a hero. The prince, who apparently is called Ferdinand or Florian in German, also kinda just appears and kisses the sleeping Snow White without much fanfare. So, instead, the evil queen will be a queen from a neighboring land, wishing to invade the kingdom of the prince's dad, looking for the Amulet of Light. And we will include a prophecy that speaks of a maiden capable of drawing energy from the amulet made of light that will protect the kingdom against the avatar of Chernabog. Now, Chernabog will not be specified, just mentioned as the purest essence of darkness, evil incarnate, if you will. The maiden with the Amulet of Light is obviously Snow White. We will also see the evil queen talking to a mirror, but instead of asking for beauty, she will ask for power. And instead of just being a random face in the mirror, we will see Chernabog for the first time, a dark demon with horns, the same one that appears first in the Fantasia movie. From this point onwards, the movie will proceed as expected, all the while until the prince brings her back, and they both fight the witch, who is eventually defeated by the prince and Snow White when she finally learns to tap into the power of light within her heart and makes his sword capable of piercing the skin of a being full of darkness, like the evil queen. She, however, will steal Snow White's medallion before being consumed by darkness and the sky ripping open like in all other movies. And so, we're ready to talk about the ensemble movie where all characters come together. We will open this movie with a wounded evil witch drowning in a world of darkness, and we will experience the first appearance of Chernabog in its devil form, and we will appreciate that he has chains around his wrists. The evil queen will ask for his help, and he will save her life in return for her absolute submission. She will agree, and Chernabog would say, "You shall now become my darkness made flesh, evil in the shape of human, a maleficent witch of dark power." And so the evil witch will become Maleficent. I know that this is not canon, but both characters are so similar that it makes so much sense. Maleficent puts a spell on Aurora and makes her go to sleep, a spell that can be broken with a true love's kiss, exactly the same modus operandi as the evil witch with Snow White. Then, after her full transformation, we will hear Chernabog saying again that his freedom is fast approaching, and the only relic missing is in a kingdom of magic and light. Then we will cut to all of the main characters either arriving to or being absorbed to the rift in the sky, and reaching the world that we know as the place where Maleficent cursed the Sleeping Beauty to eternal sleep. This movie will pick up at a point where Maleficent has won, and Aurora is locked inside the castle where the witch resides. She needs one final relic, and the team of Disney heroes has to side together to defeat Maleficent, take back the relic, and return to their worlds. In this world, those characters that are cosmically aware will have informed the heroes about how the relics hold power to release Chernabog from its prison. Once the team is all assembled, Snow White will tell them everything she knows about the God of Darkness and the evil witch. Once Hercules, Mulan, Aladdin, and Snow White are together, they will discover that this world's relic is hidden inside Maleficent's castle, but protected by a spell that only the Maiden of Light can touch. The story will follow in 4 acts. In the first act, the team will come together. After arriving, Aladdin, Mulan, and Hercules will fight, because every team-up movie needs that scene where they fight each other. Here, to level the playing field, we could say that Hercules is strong, but his energy is being drained due to his distance from Olympus. That way, he can punch Aladdin without breaking every bone in his body. This fight is stopped by Snow White using her powers of light. Second, Snow White will get kidnapped by Maleficent's monsters and brought inside the castle. The witch will threaten to let Aurora perish if she does not eliminate the protective spell from the final relic, and the team fights their way towards the castle. Third, Snow White agrees to take the final relic and Aurora is saved. Maleficent gathers all of the relics and begins opening the door to the dark world of Chernabog. But then, the team arrives. It is at this point where a commander, consumed by darkness, appears and fights the entire team. Mulan finally emerges to engage in single battle while Hercules and Aladdin catch up to Snow White. Fourth, the rift opens and the heroes see Chernabog for the first time. He tries to poison their hearts with darkness, saying to them what they most dread. To Aladdin he says that he is nothing but a lying street rat, unworthy of Jasmine and becoming the future Sultan. To Snow White, he says that regardless of her power of light, she's still nothing but a gullible maiden, a mere side character to someone else's story. But it is with Hercules that he focuses the most. He reveals his many names, among them Chernabog, the Dark Emperor, and Kronos of the Titans. Kronos, as we know, is Zeus's father in Greek mythology, making him Hercules' grandfather. They manage to escape from Chernabog's mind control, thanks to Snow White's magic that powers them up. Then we see Mulan finally defeating Shang in combat. This will make him return to normal. Snow White will then continue to power up Hercules and Aladdin, and Chernabog will do the same with Maleficent, who will finally turn into her dragon form. Hercules will fight the dragon one-on-one, as he has now regained the strength of Olympus, while Aladdin outsmarts Chernabog and steals the lamps from the altar that is keeping the dark portal open. This begins to make the portal close, and as a final point to the fight, Hercules manages to invoke a lightning like Zeus could do, and throws it at the dragon that is also absorbed by the closing portal. And so, bit by bit, each hero begins to disappear and return to their worlds, getting ready for other adventures to come. And that was it. I hope you enjoyed this phase 1 of our Disney Cinematic Universe. Remember to click the like button and subscribe to Rebel Culture. If you enjoy this kind of videos, also let us know in the comments. And I will see you in the next one.